What's up guys, today I explain you a complete timeline of One Piece. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe this channel, because we are close to hit the 1200 followers and now have fun with the video. Monkey D. Luffy's origin is revealed. Luffy meets Shanks, eats the Gomu Gomu no Mi to become a rubber man. And Shanks gives him his straw hat after saving him. In the present, Luffy begins his quest to find the treasure left behind by Gall D. Roger, the One Piece, to become king of the pirates, meets Koby, and defeats Alvida and her crew. Traveling to a marine base, the organization's corruption is put on full display. Luffy rescues Roronoa Zoro from Captain Axan Morgan and his son, Helmeppo. Zoro's past is shown, and it's revealed he became a bounty hunter to help achieve his dream of becoming the world's strongest swordsman for both himself and his dead friend. Luffy and Zoro work together to defeat Morgan, and Zoro becomes Luffy's first crewmate, while Koby stays behind, still wishing to become a marine. Luffy and Zoro travel to Orange Town. They encounter Buggy the Clown and his pirate crew, who are terrorizing the town's citizens in search of a stolen treasure map, and meet the thief who stole the map, Nami. Learning of the village's plight, Luffy fights Buggy to protect it. During their fight, Buggy is revealed to have once been friends with Shanks before turning against him. Luffy defeats Buggy while Zoro defeats his henchmen, and Orange Town is saved. Nami agrees to travel with Luffy and Zoro as their navigator. Luffy, Zoro and Nami find themselves in the quaint Syrup village. They meet Usopp, a young man hated by the village for his constant lies. Usopp's only friends are a group of kids he pretends to be pirates with, and Kaya, the wealthiest girl in the village. Luffy befriends Usopp, as the two realize Usopp's absent father, Yasopp, is a member of Shanks' crew. The Red Hair Pirates, Kaya's butler, Klahadore, reveals himself to be the notorious pirate Captain Kuro, plotting to kill Kaya and steal her fortune. Usopp discovers this and attempts to spread the truth, but no one believes him, except for Luffy. Luffy, Zoro, Nami and Usopp battle Kuro and the Black Cat Pirates and beat them. As thanks for saving her, Kaya gifts Luffy a ship, the Going Merry. Luffy invites Usopp to join his crew, and Usopp accepts. Seeking a chef, the Straw Hat Pirates arrive at Barity, one of the most famous restaurants in the East Blue. Luffy damages the restaurant, infuriating the chef, Zeph, and is forced to work off his debt as a chore boy. One of the chefs, Sanji, takes pity on a starving pirate, Jin, and feeds him. Jin is revealed to be a member of the Krieg Pirates and brings his captain, Don Krieg, and his entire fleet to Barity. After feeding the starving captain, Krieg attempts to take the floating restaurant for himself. Luffy elects to join Sanji in defending the restaurant. Before the fight begins, Mihawk, one of the 7 warlords and the strongest swordsman in the world, arrives. Mihawk destroys Krieg's ship before being challenged by Zoro. Mihawk defeats Zoro with ease, and Zoro swears to never lose again. Mihawk departs, wiping out a great deal of Krieg's fleet on his way. Luffy and Sanji defeat Krieg and his men, and Luffy and Zeph convince Sanji to join the Straw Hats. Luffy, Zoro and Sanji learn from Usopp that Nami has betrayed the crew and stolen the Going Merry. Nami returns home to Kokoyashi village, delivering her stolen treasure to her true captain, Arlong. Nami is revealed to be a member of the Arlong Pirates, fishmen who rule the village with an iron fist, and to have only ever been scamming the Straw Hats. The remaining Straw Hat Pirates, aided by Zoro's old friends, Johnny and Yosaku, refuse to accept that Nami is a traitor and set sail for Kokoyashi village to retrieve her. Usopp meets Nejico, Nami's sister, while Zoro is captured by the Arlong Pirates. Nami and Nejico visit their mother's grave, where Nami reveals she joined Arlong's crew so she could buy the village back from him. Zoro escapes the fishmen while Usopp is captured. To save his life, Nami pretends to kill him so he can escape. Luffy and Sanji finally join the others, and Nejico tells Usopp and Sanji about how Arlong murdered her and Nami's mother, Belmere, and how Nami, despite only being a child, took it upon herself to save the village by earning money drawing maps and stealing for Arlong. Arlong sends corrupt marines to find and steal all the money that Nami had saved up, forcing her to start her mission from scratch after being so close to completing it. Nami breaks down and, at last, asks Luffy for help. While Zoro, Sanji and Usopp defeat Arlong's subordinates, Luffy defeats Arlong, destroying the room where Nami was forced to draw maps in the process. Nami joins the Straw Hats for good, while Johnny and Yosaku part ways with the pirates. Luffy receives his first bounty of 30 million berries. The Straw Hats arrive at Logtown, the site of Gall D. Roger's execution, and the last stop in the East Blue before the Grand Line, where the One Piece resides. Mihawk delivers Luffy's wanted poster to Shanks, who insists on throwing a party. Zoro goes shopping for new swords to replace those destroyed by Mihawk, obtaining both a blade said to be cursed and the shop owner's best blade. He also meets a fellow swordsman, Tashigi, who reminds Zoro of his dead friend. Luffy is ambushed by a now-aligned Alvida and Buggy, who attempt to execute him. The execution is stopped, and a sudden bolt of lightning defeats the villains. The Marine Captain Smoker, revealed to be Tashigi's superior officer, attempts to arrest the Straw Hats, but a mysterious figure stops him. The Straw Hats progress and enter the Grand Line. The Straw Hats enter the treacherous waters of the Grand Line. There, they encounter the whale Laboon, who swallows the Going Merry. While Luffy escapes, his crewmates meet an old, powerful man, Crocus. Two new villains, Mr. Nine and Miss Wednesday, arrive to kill Laboon, wanting to feed him to their people. But Luffy swiftly defeats them. Crocus tells the Straw Hats a story about how Laboon had come to the Grand Line with a pirate crew that told him to wait for them there. Unable to risk continuing with him, Crocus was asked to stay with him, and despite the crew never returning for 50 years, Laboon still believes they'll come back for him one day. Luffy promises to come back and fight Laboon as a rival after completing his voyage around the Grand Line. Crocus tells Nami that normal compasses don't work in the Grand Line and provides her with a log post to chart the magnetic fields of each island. After being attacked by two strange individuals known as the Unluckies, Mr. Nine and Mr. Wednesday beg for mercy from the Straw Hats and convince them to sail them back to their home of Whiskey Peak. After the Straw Hats depart, Crocus reveals that he knew Roger. The Straw Hats arrive in Whiskey Peak and are welcomed with a party. That night, the mayor, Igarappawai, and several other townspeople, including Miss Wednesday and Mr. Nine, are revealed to be agents of the criminal organization Baroque Works. They attempt to take out the Straw Hats in their sleep, but their plot is foiled by Zoro, who feigns passing out. Zoro fights and defeats an army of bounty hunters working for Baroque Works, along with the agents. To higher-ranked members of Baroque Works, Mr. Five and Miss Valentine arrive to eliminate a spy their leader has discovered among their ranks. Igarappawai and Miss Wednesday, their real names Igaram and Princess Nefertari Vivi, are revealed to be the spies and are attacked but are provided time to escape by their partners. Igaram offers Nami a fortune in exchange for the Straw Hats safely returning Vivi to her home country of Arabasta. Zoro steps in to protect Vivi, but Luffy arrives enraged, believing Zoro attacked the people who threw them a party for no reason. Zoro and Luffy fight, accidentally defeating Mr. Five and Miss Valentine in the process. Vivi explains that Baroque Works has instigated a civil war in her country, with its leader, Mr. Zero, wanting to take it over. Vivi believes that if she can speak to the rebel leader, then she can save everyone. She also reveals that Mr. Zero is Crocodile, one of the 7 warlords. The Straw Hats and Vivi return to the Going Merry, where Miss All Sunday, Crocodile's partner, awaits to taunt them. The Straw Hats and Vivi visit Little Garden, an island inhabited by dinosaurs, where 2 giants, Dory and Bragi, have been fighting for 100 years. The Straw Hats befriend the giants, who tell them about their home country of Elbaf, inspiring Usopp to become a great warrior like them. As a misunderstanding results in the Straw Hats fighting the giants, Mr. Five, Miss Valentine, and 2 new Baroque Works agents, Mr. 3 and Miss Golden Week, plot to kill both the giants and the Straw Hats. The Baroque Works agents capture Zoro, Nami and Vivi, as well as Brogy, trapping them in wax. Luffy and Usopp arrive to help their friends. Usopp is defeated, but with his help, Luffy saves the others. Luffy defeats Mr. 3 and Miss Golden Week. Zoro defeats Mr. 5, and Nami and Vivi defeat Miss Valentine. Sanji gets to speak with Crocodile over the phone, keeping his identity secret by pretending to be Mr. 3. Smoker intercepts pieces of the call, convincing him to head to Arabasta to investigate. Nami gets sick, forcing the Straw Hats to find a doctor. On their way to Drum Island, they're attacked by Wapol and his crew, whom Luffy easily fends off. Once on the island, the Straw Hats learn of its plight, revealing that Wapol is their exiled king, who banished all but 20 doctors from it. After an attack by a powerful pirate, Blackbeard, all but one of their doctors, Dr. Kureha, fled. Luffy and Sanji take Nami to see Dr. Kureha, meeting her and her assistant, Tony Chopper, a humanoid reindeer. While Wapol attempts to invade Drum Island and become its king once more, Dr. Kureha tells Sanji and Nami about Chopper's tragic past and how he ate the homie no Mi, which turned him part human, resulting in his people abandoning him. After the man who took him in, Dr. Hiraluk, succumbed to an illness, Chopper dedicated his life to studying medicine under Dr. Kureha. With Chopper's help, Luffy defeats Wapol and his men, and Nami is cured of her illness. Chopper joins the Straw Hats. The Straw Hats arrive in Arabasta, where Crocodile is presenting himself as a hero to the people. Luffy encounters his older brother, Ace, as well as Smoker, with Ace only sticking around long enough to help Luffy escape the marine. The crew travels to the site of the rebel headquarters but learns that they've moved upon arrival. Luffy convinces Vivi that speaking to the rebels won't matter if they don't beat Crocodile. The rebels launch their assault on the Arabasta capital, Alyabarna, believing the king to be responsible for the water shortage. Crocodile captures the Straw Hats, Vivi, and Smoker. Crocodile reveals that he has been the one causing with the drought with his sand powers, instigating the war while looking like a hero so he can take the throne. Sanji, having kept his identity hidden and avoided capture, saves everyone from Crocodile. Luffy fights Crocodile but loses, only surviving with the aid of Miss All Sunday. Focused on getting Vivi to the capital, Sanji fights Mr. 2. Usopp and Chopper fight Mr. 4 and Miss Merry Christmas. Zoro fights Mr. 1, and Nami, using her new climate tact, fights Miss Doublefinger, with all the Straw Hats emerging victorious. As the rebel leader Koza learns who his true enemy is, Crocodile reveals his real goal is to obtain Pluton, a legendary weapon buried under Arabasta. As Miss All Sunday goes with Crocodile to decipher the poneglyph that will lead him to Pluton, Luffy arrives for a rematch, only to lose again and barely survive. Miss All Sunday's real name is revealed to be Nico Robin as she decimates Tashigi and her men. Vivi and her ally, Pell, attempt to stop a bomb planted by Crocodile, with Pell sacrificing himself to carry it into the sky. Robin betrays Crocodile, but before he can kill her, Luffy arrives for a final battle. As Luffy defeats Crocodile, Vivi convinces her people to stop fighting and ends the war. Vivi chooses not to join the Straw Hats, but they are joined by Nico Robin. The Straw Hats discover the existence of Skypiea, a floating island in the sky. Seeking more information on it, the crew travels to Jaya. Jaya is being terrorized by a rookie pirate, Bellamy. Luffy meets Blackbeard for the first time in a bar. Bellamy recognizes Luffy and challenges him to a fight. Bellamy and his crew beat Luffy and Zoro, who refuse to fight back against pirates who don't believe in dreams. Seeking more clues about Skypiea, the Straw Hats visit Cricket, who tells them the story of Nolan the Liar. Bellamy attacks Cricket to steal his gold. For hurting his new friend, Luffy challenges Bellamy and defeats him with one punch. Cricket's gold is returned, but the Blackbeard pirates discover Luffy's bounty and launch an attack on the Straw Hats. Before they can fight, the Straw Hats are launched into the sky, up to Skypiea. Meanwhile, powerful pirates and marines gather to discuss the changing state of the world. Arriving at Skypiea, the Straw Hats meet several locals and explore all that the island has to offer. Nami gets lost and winds up in the upper yard, a forbidden space and sacred ground where their god, Enel, and his priests reside. With his curiosity sparked, Luffy travels to the upper yard under the pretense of saving Nami. Nami witnesses a display of Enel's power and learns that the Straw Hats have been deemed criminals. With Luffy easily dispatching Skypiea's law enforcement, the priests are dispersed to deal with them. The Straw Hats are all pulled to the upper yard, where they battle the priests and survive the terrain's ordeals. Luffy learns of the nation's history from Ganfall and how the native Shandia were invaded by the Skypieans. As their previous god, Ganfall sought peace, but when Enel took over, he had no interest in that, forcing them to continue fighting for their land. With the aid of the warrior Wiper and other Shandians, more of Enel's forces are defeated. Zoro, Robin, Ganfall and Wiper confront Enel but are defeated by his lightning powers. Luffy arrives to challenge Enel and, thanks to being made of rubber, is unaffected by Enel's attacks. Luffy defeats Enel and rings the Shandorian Golden Belfry Bell to inform Cricket that Skypiea is real. With Enel defeated, the Skypieans and Shandians make peace while Robin discovers the location of the ancient weapon Poseidon. Usopp obtains new weapons, Skypiean dials, the others steal bags of gold, and Ganfall retakes his place as god of Skypiea. The Straw Hats arrive at Longring Longland, where everything is a bizarre length or height. They meet Tanjit, a nomad who's thrilled to reunite with his horse, Shelly. Foxy the Silver Fox shoots Shelly and challenges the Straw Hats to a Davy-back fight, where their crews will compete in games to steal each other's crewmates and flags. Angered by Foxy shooting Shelly, Luffy accepts. Foxy's crew initially gains the upper hand in the competition by cheating, but the Straw Hats come out victorious. After the competition is won, the Straw Hats encounter a man who, to Robin's horror, is Marine Admiral Aokiji. Aokiji explains he doesn't want to fight and helps the Straw Hats escort Tanjit and his people to their next destination. Aokiji changes his mind about the Straw Hats, revealing to them that Robin's ability to read poneglyphs makes her the most dangerous person in the world, and that every organization she's ever worked with has fallen apart. The Straw Hats fight Aokiji but are no match for him. They're defeated, but he lets them go as thanks for defeating Crocodile, with Aokiji also believing Robin will destroy the crew herself. The Straw Hats travel to Water 7, a city of shipwrights, to get the Going Merry repaired. While the crew explores, planning on seeing Iceberg, the master shipwright, Robin disappears. Luffy exchanges his Skypian gold for money and meets Iceberg, along with several other shipwrights. Sanji and Chopper hunt for Robin while Usopp is assaulted by the Frankie crime family, allowing the Straw Hats' new fortune to be stolen. The Straw Hats are then informed that the Going Merry cannot be fixed and will have to be replaced. Usopp attempts to steal back the money he lost, but the Frankie family beats him once more. Luffy, Zoro, Sanji and Chopper enter to avenge him, destroying Frankie's base, but they discover that Frankie has already fled with the money. A fight among the Straw Hats breaks out that night, as Luffy is chosen to replace the Going Merry, which infuriates Usopp, with tensions rising and Zoro adding in that Luffy will carry no respect as a captain if he gives in to Usopp. Usopp leaves the crew and challenges Luffy to a duel for the Merry. Luffy and Usopp fight, with Luffy winning but letting Usopp have the Merry anyway. The next morning, Iceberg is revealed to have been shot in the night. While Frankie believes Luffy is responsible, Iceberg reveals it was a man in a mask and Robin. Frankie fights Luffy and Nami and, after they get away, kidnaps Usopp. The Straw Hats believe Robin is being coerced against her will by someone else to turn against them. The true culprit behind all of this is revealed to be various members of the community, including several shipwrights, who are the world government's elite assassins, CP9. CP9 defeats the Straw Hats and departs with Robin to take her to her execution. Frankie's backstory is revealed. Joined by Frankie, as well as Usopp under the persona of Sojking, the Straw Hats fight their way through a sea train full of Marines to follow CP9 and Robin to the site of her execution, Enies Lobby. The Straw Hats, Frankie, and Sojking fight more Marines after arriving at Enies Lobby. Luffy has a rematch against one of the CP9 agents, Blueno, who he easily defeats by revealing his new Gear 2 ability. Standing on the gates of justice, Luffy calls out to Robin that he's here for her, but she has to tell him she wants to live. Robin insists she just wants to die. The Straw Hats learn about Robin's past and how the Marines wiped out her entire home civilization because of her people's ability to read poneglyphs. Luffy orders Sojking to shoot down the world government's flag, declaring war on the world. Robin admits she wants to live. The Straw Hats learn about Robin's past and how the Marines wiped out her entire home civilization because of her people's ability to read poneglyphs. Luffy orders Sojking to shoot down the world government's flag, declaring war on the world. Robin admits she wants to live. The Straw Hats fight CP9. Zoro defeats Kaku. Sanji defeats Jabara. Nami defeats Khalifa. Chopper defeats Kumadori. Frankie defeats Fukuro. And Luffy defeats Rob Lucci. Usopp gets the key to Robin's handcuffs and frees her, giving her the chance to punish her tormentor, Spandam. A Buster Call is mistakenly called it, summoning an army of Marines, including an admiral, to wipe everyone out. Rob Lucci's past is revealed, and the Straw Hats barely escape Enies Lobby, thanks to the Going Merry somehow coming to save them on its own. Although the ship Spirit is able to rescue them, the ship itself still cannot go on, and the Straw Hats give it a proper funeral.